You know, this is kind of getting away with a bit of murder here. I wonder why that is. Is it because it makes you look really stupid? Oh my God. Literally, who cares? Are you serious? Horrifying language and slurs. God, this person's a retard. You know, she's going to pivot to just talking about all of these stupid claims that are irrelevant. What about you? What the you've done? What about the this is all about originally? God, I really don't like this person. I don't know them, obviously, but...
I want nothing to do with you, and I can only hope that I will no longer be associated with you.
Chips! 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 Oh my God, it's like chips all over again.
Why would you even bother posting something like this, except to humiliate me?
Guys, Illuminaughtii recently got herself in some hot water because she made a public allegation, an accusation against LegalEagle of plagiarism off the back of like what are fairly common editing techniques. There's a whole video about it on my channel, which you can watch. But needless to say, the claims were frivolous and nonsense. And Illuminaughtii got so heavily criticised on it from all angles, including getting accused of plagiarism herself by H-Bomber Guy over maybe copying someone else's documentary. You know, that's probably the biggest thing. But she ended up deleting the tweets. And off the back of that, there's obviously been public pressure on her to issue a public response, which she has now indeed issued here. So let's have a quick look at this. And I want to point a couple of things out here, okay? To LegalEagle, although I've apologized privately, I would like to... by the way, I've looked at this already the other day on stream, so I'm pre-reacting, I guess you could call it. But I just want to get this part of the video I'm going to watch as well. Although I've apologized privately, I would like to do so now publicly. I'm sorry for making editing styling claims that were inaccurate. So even this, like, you know, I will say straight away, respect to someone for at least publicly apologizing when they've done something wrong. That's about where it ends, though. Because they weren't just making editing styling claims. They were accusing LegalEagle of attempting to reach out to steal things from them and steal their style. Where's the original tweets, actually? Just for the purposes of this, we should probably have a look at the original tweets, because I feel like, you know, this is kind of getting away with a bit of murder here, because this is a massive downplaying of what was going on at the time. Here we go. Not LegalEagle editors broaching my editors to take my video's style, and when they didn't give up the info, they literally copied it. And by the way, I have the messages from my editors and found an email from them too. Just changed the colour from purple to blue, huh? Interesting. So I went through my emails and found this just outright saying, yeah, I'm going to do this, but if you can make it easier for me, I'd appreciate it. And this was the email that was included with that. Hey Blair, I work as an editor for LegalEagle. I was wondering if there's some After Effects plugin you guys use for things like the intro for the first NFL video, where the lighter colours appear to stick out in 3D. We could recreate it, but we figured it was probably faster method you guys were using. Here's the video I'm talking about, just so you know what I mean. And then another tweet. Also went to my Discord server to try and get more to cop the style. I'm allowed to post a video essay I made that was inspired by Blair's channel, or is there like no self-promotion? Also, is there a way I can talk to one of the video editors? I edit for LegalEagle and wanted to know how they did a specific effect. Danny MD have to be level 2 to post links, and the best place for that would be advertise yourself others. And about talking to the editing team, I've emailed in the past but got no response, so I figured I'd try it here. And then they went on to claim
Welcome to Chud.
that this is an example of their style being stolen. Thank you very much for the sub. Was this paper rip effect? So they claimed that this paper rip effect was an example of their work being stolen. And then on top of that as well, they claimed that this highlighting effect was another example of their work being stolen. So they put example A and then example B. And then they said, and to be honest, I wouldn't have believed any of this was trying to replicate my videos if not for the email and Discord stuff that was done preemptive to their video coming out. Like talk about, can I copy your homework? Yeah, but just make yours a little different, shaking my head. So all of that that was put out there that's now been deleted, okay? All of that has now been classified in the following way. I'm sorry for making editing styling claims that were inaccurate. That is the biggest PR statement that I've ever heard when you've accused someone of plagiarism. That's what you've done. And now you're going, oh, I just made some editing styling claims that are inaccurate. Give me a fucking break. Unbelievable. Even in the apology, the walk back to like, but you wouldn't know unless you'd spoken about it or covered it or looked at it, right? I jumped the gun, thought hastily, and should have messaged you privately to hash things out. I'm sorry. And here's the other thing about this, which I find to be pretty shitty, is the Illuminaughtii is now trying to twist the narrative to some success amongst their peers, where reading those messages, the idea that it's to protect editors is insane. Right? Look at the wording she's using here. And to be honest, I wouldn't have believed any of this was trying to replicate my videos. Can I copy your homework? Like, this is all about her and her work being copied and replicated, you know, which obviously was bullshit in the first place. But now it's, oh, I was quick to protect my editors. This is total bullshit. This wasn't concerned about protecting the fucking editors at all. This is a fucking pride thing. And she's a retard. And she thought that, you know, oh my God, my work's getting stolen. I need to say something about this. It's insane. And the thing is, amongst some peers, the narrative spinning is working. Because if you look at Lance's tweet about this, right? If you look at Lance's tweet about this, he used the same language. He used the same language as well. Look. Even if she was standing up for her editor, she was never standing up for her editor at all. That's total bullshit. That's total fucking bullshit. Her editor was not a part of this initially. It was all about how her work was getting stolen. So give me a fucking break with this bullshit editor line that she's now trying to push. It's bullshit. It's total bullshit. Never was about the editor, her editors in the first place. It was about her. That was what it was about in the first place. Ridiculous. Look. LegalEagle editors broaching my editors to take my video style. My email. Like, it's bullshit. It's total bullshit. Right. Let's watch her video. So Illuminaughtii has released an entire video, which I haven't watched, going over this drama. We looked at some of the tweet threads that people put out, which I thought were kind of cringe and didn't really contain many allegations. But she responds to some of the allegations. Let's watch the video, see what it's all about, see what's going on.
There's no really fun or interesting way to start this conversation. So you guys know what you're here for, and I'm just going to jump into it the way I know how to. So I'm sure, as all of you know, many things have been said about me in the past week, like week and a half-ish. And I'm someone who often doesn't speak my side of things, and that's something that's also been noted. Just for kind of full transparency in this, I'm going to be working from some of like my notes that I've written to accomplish two main things. The first is mainly to keep me on track with the subject matter and off of tangents. I know I like to go off on tangents and talk about various topics all the time, but this is not that time. The second reason is really just to keep my emotions in check. A lot of the things that I'm going to talk about in the most of this video, to be totally honest with you, are things kind of from the past. They involve old friends, people that I used to consider close friends and I used to trust and really enjoy spending time with. And kind of reopening a lot of these wounds is really painful. It's really uncomfortable, and it's not something I ever thought I would ever have to speak about, especially not in this kind of way. After a few days of self-reflection and really thinking about what I want to say and how I want to talk about these things, I think now is the right time. To be perfectly honest, I'm feeling pretty vulnerable to have this conversation with so many people and so publicly, especially since some of the things that I'm going to talk about today are really personal and things in my private life that should have never become content fodder. So let me try something new today, and I'm going to address these issues.
Here we go.
Now, before we get into debunking many false statements that have been made about me, I want to start with an apology. I have apologized privately to LegalEagle the day after this incident occurred, though I have not been publicizing that until right now. Maybe this is something I should have said sooner, but I needed the time to think through the events that have preceded. And for those unaware, a short story. My editors came to me about how parts of a LegalEagle video looked similar to our videos. And then there were messages and an email from one of LegalEagle's editors asking for more information about how we do certain effects. I looked at the compared images that were brought to me and I said, wow, that does look pretty similar, and I impulsively posted about it on Twitter. Truthfully, I should have looked into this more instead of just putting the information out there the second I had a gut reaction about it. I should have asked him what the emails were about, but I didn't.
Yeah, I've got to be honest. I mean, I am bemused by this idea. Who is she using for editors? Like, how are editors thinking like this? Like, every editor or person I've spoken to about this, of any renown, has been like, yeah, this was like a nothing burger, really. There was nothing really to this from the start. Do you know what I mean?
And I made a mistake, and plain and simple, I was wrong. So to LegalEagle and team, I just want to reiterate that I messed up, and I'm sorry for any stress this may have caused you,
listen.
and of course to your team. I know I apologized privately and removed the tweets with that apology, and I'm now publicly sharing that information with all of you. And I want to extend that apology to my audience and to listeners who are disappointed in me for this, because I'm also disappointed in myself. It was a quick-drawn decision, and it wasn't thought out. I promise to do better. Now, as we continue in this video, I do want to give you a heads up that there will be trigger warnings for various sections as needed.
So that's fair play. I think the biggest thing with this, though, is, and listen, I guess we're all guilty of jumping to conclusions. We've all done it. But I think there's a difference between like saying something or whatever, but I feel like there's this tendency, and you're seeing this now with the Stephen Crowder stuff, not necessarily from necessarily Illuminaughtii. I don't think that she has, I don't know if she said anything about this, but like, Lance of the Service is a great example of this, of just like jumping to a conclusion and tweeting about something and like not really thinking it through, and then bam, there you go, And like I say, if it's a meme or a joke or something, it's whatever. But when you're making like actual claims, especially if you're accusing, another YouTuber of plagiarism and the editor of plagiarism, that's a pretty big claim to make. And, you ought not to do that, like, ever really. And you've done it and you fucked up and you apologized. But, from what I understand, like, Illuminaughti's got a history of doing some pretty messed up things. So maybe she's going to get into it now. I'm going to be honest with you, a lot of this video is probably going to be very fucking weird and boring. But, it's 45 minutes of React content. Let's just see what happens.
I also want to go ahead and let you know that I will be providing a public Google Drive containing any and all relevant information that I will address in this video, similar to how I provide a source document for every episode of mine.
Here we go.
Let's start with the first accusation and go from there. After LegalEagle responded in his tweets, there was another tweet that arose in tandem to this situation. And that tweet was made by another YouTuber called HBomberGuy. And this YouTuber is someone who also creates longer form content. As someone who creates this type of content and researches various topics, the main thing to keep in mind is the source material used. Things like articles, interviews, videos, documentaries, academic essays, and so on and so forth. As video essayists, this is a core concept to both Harris and myself. Before I get into the accusation itself, I want to address the topic of plagiarism. And that word has been tossed around a ton, and it's not something to be taken lightly. And I just want to take a minute to define this word. On screen are
Says you? Wait, says you? Wait a minute, what?
Definitions for the word plagiarism as defined by Merriam-Webster, Dictionary.com, and the University of Oxford. I'm showing multiple sources defining plagiarism, but the overall definition is going to boil down to this. Plagiarism is to take someone else's idea as their own or to not credit the source. With that definition being clearly identified, let's go ahead and take a look at what Harris brought to the Twitter table. Harris posted this video saying, and I quote, "Personally, at Illuminaughtii, I would define plagiarism as something a bit more specific. For example, copying someone else's documentary directly into your script." End quote. However, in his own video, he shows where I'm audibly quoting a direct line from the documentary, and even visually you can see it on the screen with the quotation marks. Additionally, you can even see the dual ellipses on either end of that quote, indicating that more of that source was being cited. When you go to my sourcing page for this particular episode, you can also see that the documentary is listed as a source. It has been 3 years since I posted this episode, and I've been really grateful to be able to continually learn and grow with time. Since then, I've learned to be much more overt and obvious with citations, something that may not have been perfectly clear to me 3 years ago. I apologize for the oversight of not making that quote more clear. At the time,
Occam's razor, did you just raid with nobody? Are we actually streaming or not? Anyway, thanks for the raid, whatever it is.
Recording, it was really obvious to me that it was a citation of the documentary, especially in full context of that section of my video, because that section was wholly dedicated to Brian Deere's work. And for some clarification, I would like to provide both you and Harris with the script that I was working off of. It will be available in the Google Drive.
Okay, so, you know, to be generous to that, I guess it's like, seems like maybe could be a sourcing thing, or she didn't really source it accurately enough or make it clear enough that it was a quote from a documentary. What did you stream? I mean, you know, obviously this was just kind of like a fun meme to point out that, hey, you know, it could be that she was plagiarizing from this other documentary. But I think that like this is immaterial to the actual thing. The trouble is like she's apologized, so it's like you can't really say any more than that. Except, well, hopefully you don't do some dumb shit again like this. But yeah, I guess you could potentially put this down to not accurately or adequately sourcing in the documentary on the video.
While I believe emphasizing the key phrase of the quote about stopping injections on autistic children was and still is very important to point out, the quote should have been fully displayed on screen. This was certainly a poor editing choice, and it's an editing style that I no longer utilize, but it's most certainly not plagiarism. But with that being said, I still want to take accountability where it's needed, so I still would like to apologize.
The other problem I've got though is this could also just be like a post-hoc rationalization. Like, yeah, in your sources you've put in this this fact you've used as documentary, but like, you know, maybe you were doing it in a way that made it seem like this was your work that you'd done to write these words. Do you know what I mean? It could be like a post hoc thing where she's now going, oh, I've been caught out in saying that. So I don't know. Maybe it could be that too.
The citation not being made more clear visually in that video. Harris, I am also someone who takes plagiarism seriously. And I do see where your criticism comes from, but unfortunately, this was simply an oversight on an editing error, but not an act of plagiarism. To me, at the time of the recording, the entire section was very obviously a citation, even as seen in the script. There was a visual change to break up the many words that would otherwise be just chunked onto the screen, which, looking back at it, despite not being so visually appealing to have tons of words on the screen, this should have been an opportunity to provide that full quote to avoid any confusion like this whatsoever. Based on the definition of the word plagiarism, his claims are simply false. Not only is the source quoted on screen, it's also cited in the sources list, which again, I will provide in the Google Drive. As a more seasoned video essayist now, I've been lucky that I'm able to continue learning how to showcase facts and other relevant materials in an interesting and educational way. And I'm really excited that I get to continue doing that. I'd like to think that in the last 3 years, myself and my team have grown to create better content that is educational and entertaining, and this is clearly an example of how we have improved since that time. I have nothing but love for everyone on my team, from editors, writers, artists, and even some of the not-so-fun kind of clerical duties like payroll. I'm always going to have their back, even if sometimes things slip through the cracks. We're a team of people who make human mistakes. We're going to continue to improve content as the years continue, and we'll always be able to learn and improve from the past.
Here we go.
Before I address any one person individually, I want to kind of cover everything in a general and broader scope regarding Sad Milk. Sad Milk was a collaboration channel started by 6 friends in 2020. It was kind of essentially group Reddit readings and just looking at cringe things online and reacting to it. It was no big deal on the surface. This channel and this project was just meant to be something goofy.
Do you think this is nothing but, I mean, the thing is that's the most, pressing issue in regards to because she was accused of plagiarism by H1 guy, which is pretty wild. The Sad Milk stuff, going through the Twitter threads or watching the video, there wasn't really much meat on the bone. There was a couple of things that maybe are questionable, but maybe not paying in a timely fashion and stuff like that. A lot of it was just people saying, oh, she was kind of shitty and blah, 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 blah. Some of it was like a bit, frivolous in terms of claims. But, well, I don't know if they're going to get into the room thing, but there was one thing that I saw. Who's got it? Who's got the room thing? Where did it go? Oh man, the room thing is gone. I'm losing it, guys. Who's got the pictures of the room?
Easy and kind of cringy, but a shared channel that we could all get a kick out of. It was just supposed to be a bunch of friends hanging out, reacting to funny images, and just having a good time together. I mean, the channel...
Thank you. So I saw this image originally. And I thought, hey, it doesn't look so bad. But then I saw the other images and I'm like, yeah, this is pretty dire. This is pretty dire. Oof. Busy, perhaps? I don't know. Pretty gross. I mean, I'm not sure whose house or flat this is. Like, obviously, if this is like your own flat, that's one thing. Like, it's gross, but it's up to you if you want to live in a total pigsty. But if you're sharing with other people, sharing living spaces, or you're living with someone else or whatever, like, yeah, it's obviously really inconsiderate to like live like this. Occam's razor. What is your problem, mate? See, I got to be honest with you. I understated. Well, I only saw that picture, but I saw the rest. I was like, yeah, it's pretty bad.
Name was literally called Sad Milk, so it wasn't really something that anyone was taking too seriously. Discussing Sad Milk now in current day is always a little bit bittersweet for me. It was a fun project among friends that turned sour. The issues I'm about to address cost me some of my closest friends at that time. When the Sad Milk channel was formed, I initially took the lead and I made the channel, I made the Discord, I got my mods from my server to help run the new Discord, I hired and managed video editors to help us produce more content. I was the one who was sourcing the topics and files for each video, and I was the one who had set the schedules for recording too. The reality of the situation was this: with creators in different time zones, it was logistically pretty hard to get everyone together at one place.
Turned a bit sour.
We tried to do it organically multiple times, but unfortunately someone would always end up missing from the recordings. There's a lot of work behind the scenes that goes into a YouTube channel, and I bore the brunt of it for this project. And it wasn't something that I was doing to have total control, as some members have suggested.
Oh, yeah, I'm pretty sure this is going to be a bunch of he said, she said bullshit. I mean, I don't know. I mean, a lot of this stuff I didn't really see as significant. Was there anything that these people said that was like, oh my God, Illuminaughti's done something terrible here? We're going to watch it, though. We're going to watch it. But the problem is, I know what this is going to be. This is going to be a bunch of like response to a bunch of shit I don't really care about. Oh no. Okay, fuck it. Let's keep going.
Manage the schedules and the editors because it was just something that needed to be done. People weren't stepping up to the plate, and I did, and I ultimately bit off more than I could chew. It was a lot of work, if we're being honest, and I was beginning to burn out pretty quickly. Had I known how I would have been treated—
It's like, a bunch of people said, I was doing the work. No, I was doing the work. It's like a group project and everyone's trying to take responsibility for it.
Through this channel and afterwards, I never would have joined this project. Essentially, everyone in the group had two main responsibilities for Sad Milk. The first was that you had to show up to the scheduled recording, and the second was you had to pay your portion of the editor's fees as they arise. After the editors were paid, any earnings that were left in the channel were split into 6 equal pieces for each person. Since this was a project among friends, we all initially agreed to just split the earnings 6 ways, even though I was taking on some extra responsibilities. When it was time to pay the editors, I wasn't answered or told that they would just get it to me later. I had to do this at various points with a vast majority of the members of the group. They would eventually get around to reimbursing me only after I expressed in group meetings how I was upset that I have to do everything, and I also got stuck.
Oh God, what is this? The case for me, the reason for that is every time someone does not pay their bill, I'm the one who fronts that money. Jesus. Okay, I've got to be honest with you. I don't really care about this. But listen, if you're doing... Okay. Oh, man. It seems like such a mistake to just do an equal split amongst 6 people. I think amongst like a couple of people, maybe you can do a split. But amongst 6 people, that gives a lot of room for people to, not actually pull their end of the bargain and still get paid the same amount of money. With 6 people, you can hide a lot of like not working. Do you know what I mean?
Bill too. What quickly transpired was that members either couldn't or wouldn't reimburse me for the editors. For clarity's sake, I do want to disclose that we as a group later revised our agreement after paying all editors and creative freelancers that 5% of remaining earnings would go directly to me for the administrative work that I was doing. After that, the remaining earnings would then be split amongst the group evenly. Ultimately, the channel made very little, and it actually cost a lot more than we earned a majority of the time. Something the Click brought up in his Twitter thread was that I was angry and yelled at a meeting, but what he didn't share was the context of that meeting. As I've previously stated, the scheduling and money issues had been an ongoing problem. In the meeting that he vaguely referenced—
Wait, okay. Wow, the thing is with working co-ops, I mean, obviously you might get some people that are like, you've got 6 people doing an unspecified job at a factory, they should all get paid a 1/6 of what's made. You might have some like hardcore takes like that. But I think even within a worker co-op model, you can still have a distribution of money based on the tasks and hours and stuff people are doing, right? And I don't know, like there's probably... I mean, obviously, under a capitalist system, that's determined by market forces. I guess under a worker co-op, you determine it based on voters voting on it. I don't really fucking know.
Says on Twitter, this is what actually happened. I had become more and more frustrated about how I was doing all of the work, I was doing all of the maintenance, and then I was also having to financially foot the bill to the project. As I said, it was burning me out pretty quickly, and
the other problem with all of this is you cannot possibly figure any of this out. It is all just going to be, I was working hard. It is so pointless to try and figure out what was what. It's just, like I say, those tweet threads were not particularly convincing of anything to me. But
thinking about leaving the group. Ozmedia suggested that he try to run the meeting and I not attend, and I agreed. But one topic in
by the way, also, what did I say? Remember what I said? I said, oh yeah, the problem with these people doing these Twitter threads is this is going to give Illuminaughtii a bunch of things to focus on that are not relevant to the matter at hand of, like, the LegalEagle stuff. She's managed to slip out the LegalEagle apology in, under like what, 3 or 4 minutes, right? And now she's going to spend about fucking 40 minutes, 35 minutes going over all of this irrelevant bullshit that was put in the Twitlongers.
Were very insistent that I be there, even though I said I was not ready to talk and I needed more time. So when I entered the call, I tried to let everyone know that I was uncomfortable with having this conversation and I was not ready to have it. Again, I would like to point out that at this point in time, these were still my friends. These were people that I liked and cared about. Letting your friends know, hey, I'm not okay right now. I'm really stressed and hurt. While you all get to stream, I still have to pick up the pieces to keep this channel going is a really difficult conversation to have. Before the meeting started, I was told that if I didn't show up, that they would not have the conversation with me and everything would just stagnate. So I tried to put the channel and my friends' needs above my own. Reluctantly, I joined the conversation, and as I was speaking, one topic talked over me, and out of frustration of this happening yet again, I raised my voice and said, "Can you shut up and let me talk for once?" And he left the call, and that's the last time I ever spoke with him. Looking back at it now, I should not have spoken to my friend like that.
Do we have the call recording? We need the call recording to figure out this fucking years-old drama that no one cares about. Where's the call? Release the Kraken. Release the Kraken.
I felt that I wasn't given time to process and think things through, and in process of, emotion vomit came out. One topic, I would like to apologize for that, this time publicly. Clearly, this was a situation that affected all of us very deeply and personally, and this was an exciting idea, but one that never really took off the way I think we thought it could. To all of the members of Sad Milk, I just want to say that I'm very sorry that I caused you stress throughout this project. I want to take a couple minutes to bring up the click and the many claims that he made on Twitter recently.
Wait, okay, unless I'm missing something here. Why? Okay, I've got the Google Drive here. Why has she not included the original tweets? Why isn't she included? That is fucking bullshit. Why has she not included the original tweets of the call out? Surely if you're saying, hey, I did this thing and I'm going to apologize for it, you'd include the original tweet, surely. I wonder why that is. Is it because it makes you look really stupid and you realize that this apology is somewhat bullshit in terms of you saying you were defending your editors? Nah, that's bullshit. That is fucky, isn't it? The core reason that this is all happening and you've not put it in your sources. Crazy.
The click brings up how, as he puts it, a very convenient series of videos resurfaced with him saying some not so savory things after he left Sad Milk. His old videos, as he puts it, aged like milk. They did. I'm not going to dive into it further. The information's out there if you so choose to look. And as Click stated, those videos are 11 to 14 years old. And to be perfectly clear here, those videos are not any of the reasons as to why we split ways in Sad Milk as Click tries to insinuate. Even back in 2020, I had stated that those videos had nothing to do with the ending of Sad Milk. I was actually unaware of those videos at the time of our friendship, but had I been aware of them, that friendship would have likely ended sooner. Unfortunately, when those videos surfaced, it wasn't really all that shocking to me, as Ozmedia and I had actually talked about how Click had been using the R slur while we played games together. I thought, or I wanted to
Oh my god, literally, who cares? Are you serious?
Talked about how when those videos surfaced, it wasn't really all that shocking to me, as Ozmedia and I had actually talked about how Click had been using the R slur while we played games together. I thought, or I wanted to assume that I had misheard, but Oz said that he was uncomfortable with it and said something, but the language continued.
Do people just send me something? Do people just send me shit so I react to it and you can post a clip to LSF? I wasn't even thinking any of shit today would get on LSF. And here we are once again.
Click, you are right. Those videos in question are old, and at this point, they're kind of irrelevant. People can learn and people can change. That being said, at the time in 2020, Click was still using horrifying language and slurs that have long been deemed unacceptable. I'd now like to...
Horrifying language and slurs. God, this person's a fucking retard. Anyway, I'm not surprised the person has this take.
Okay, that's wonderful. But
Yo!
how do I make money off
Duke,
depressed
thanks for the
people?
420.
She's talking about the word retard BTW. Who the fuck cares what a retard?
Sure, I agree. So anyway, so this obviously, relevant at this moment, I think. Illuminaughtii makes some of the most boring and vapid content, by the way. Her videos and voice feel AI generated, and she's been chasing what's popular her whole career. Reddit videos to leftist video essays. Nicholas D'Oreo says, before that, she did a group channel with Tommy C, where she wore a red-haired wig and played a character named Sarah J. Warren. She played a stereotypical SJW. Yes, there's footage. This is her. This is her doing it.
Sarah J. Warren is unapologetically feminist, and if they don't like it, then I would love to drink their overprivileged male tears, okay?
Miss Warren, the boss is on the other line for you.
Let me clarify something, Jimmy. Rip Wilson is not my boss.
Not your boss.
It's the other boss.
Oh, God. Put him through.
Hey, Sarah.
Yes, Tommy?
Knock it off!
Got it, boss.
Sorry.
Gotcha, bitch.
Sarah J.
So this person now, as mentioned, now does a lefty show with a... And, listen, my position on this is pretty standard. I'm not saying that just because she used to do some cringe anti-SJW shit, it's whatever to me. It's just kind of funny that she's like, yeah, we can't let old videos, people can change. Yeah, I like Tommy C. Tommy C's a good dude. I mean, I don't know what this obviously looks a bit cringe looking back on it now, like a time capsule. But no, Tommy C makes good content. But yeah, anyway, just interested to think that now she's on the leftist mafia show with the serfs and there's other leftoids. Kind of funny.
To address the Click's claims that I had any involvement in trying to gain control of his Discord server by, as he says, tossing around accusations at staff. Because unfortunately, there were some truly sinister things occurring in the Click's Discord that were brought to my attention. For this next section, I would like to provide a trigger warning. There will be mentions of explicit sexual language, mentions of pedophilia, graphic imagery, and inappropriate behavior around minors. Before I go any further into this, I want to mention that there's going to be resources in my description box regarding what I'm about to discuss now. I do think it's relevant to bring up that in 2019, the Click's channel was terminated by YouTube for sexual content. At the time, a few YouTubers, including myself and Oz Media, band together to help reinstate Click's channel. Oz spoke to his MCN representative, and I spoke with YouTube directly. This is something that I now look back on with so much regret. Had I known at the time what was going on behind the scenes, I never would have participated in helping Click with his channel. Allow me to explain the situation a little bit. The Click and I had shared Discord moderators around the time of Sad Milk being created. Due to the...
Because this is exactly what I fucking... Oh my God. This is exactly what I said when I saw those tweets. This is dumb. She's going to be able to just talk at length about this bullshit now, and that's that. This is exactly what's happening now. She's going to pivot to just talking about all of these stupid claims that are irrelevant. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, by the end of this video, you'll have forgotten about the, you'll have forgotten about the LegalEagle shit where she was 100% wrong. She's just apologized for it, and now we're focused on a bunch of autistic, irrelevant bullshit that no one really truly cares about.
Clicks in action, our shared moderators had brought a situation in his server to my attention, a situation involving pedophilia. In Click's Discord, there was a 19-year-old bragging about a 12-year-old that he was claiming to be involved with. A moderator reached out to get more information on this situation. This 19-year-old then reiterates, and I am directly quoting this here, I talked with my therapist about it, even too, and he told me as long as I don't touch her, it's okay. Click and his team did not pursue any immediate action to ban, restrict, or report this individual.
Just ban them from the
Discord.
Discord.
Why came to me, and they told me that they were uncomfortable. So we used this individual's ID number and we banned them from the Sad Milk server and from my server, and we reported them to Discord's trust and safety team, who we hope did pursue this further. Then I went to contact Click to see what was going on, and it was mainly because I didn't want to believe that he would blow off someone clearly discussing such an inappropriate relationship. In fact, this was right off the heels of one of his admins sharing pornographic content to people that they knew were minors. One thing that I would like to point out here is how these users abusers were pushing pornographic materials to a minor who explicitly states that their parent is in the room with them, so they were hiding their phone. I would like to point out that a common tactic for abusers who are attempting to groom children is that they expose them to pornography and other sexual content in an attempt to desensitize the child. I'll provide
No, that was... No. You can't tell what that was. There's no way. You can't tell what that was. It's impossible. It's absolutely impossible. It looked just like blurry.
Page on grooming for further information.
No
and
way.
If you're a child currently in a similar situation, I urge you to speak to a trusted adult or authorities. And again, resources will be provided below. Having to relook at these messages...
No, none of this is related to LegalEagle at all now. This is all other claims that were made. Oh, this is so annoying this is happening. I don't even know what you could do or say. It's like, you know, she's obviously fucked up. But she's able to obviously obfuscate the bad she did. The fact she's not including her tweets is obviously pretty strong evidence that she's trying to move away from the original things that she said and trying to reframe it now. You know, the whole Odd Editors thing. But now she's able to just spin off and pivot off into like talking about all this irrelevant bullshit because these idiots have come up with these stupid tweet threads of irrelevant years-old drama that no one gives a single fucking shit about.
Again, still makes my stomach turn, even 3 years later. When Click didn't initially take action, I switched tactics with him, and I called One Topic, who was and still is, to my understanding, one of the Click's closest friends on social media. I got into a call with both of them, and I shared these files with them, and One Topic opened the files, he was horrified, and he said, and I quote, "I've read one, and I don't want access to those screenshots." It was...
Oh my God. Why are people so fucking... I do not want to read that. I do not. What do you think? You think you're going to get tempted to be a pedo or something like that? Like, bro, what the fuck? Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Anyway, this Click person, I mean, yeah, it sounds like they were retarded. They should have just banned the person, but you know.
Did she apologize to the fan/editor she shit on? Maybe
No.
I missed it.
No, she apologized to LegalEagle directly, which, yeah, that's bullshit as well, because, like, LegalEagle was fine. Like, he had to take a bit of heat, maybe, of a couple of people shitting on him in the Twitter, but the editor was the one. Oh, the editor responded, actually. I forgot about this. The editor responded to my YouTube video and thanked me for, like, talking about their role in it and stuff. But yeah, that's really true. Like, she hasn't said anything to this editor that she blew up. It's just, oh, sorry, LegalEagle. Again, to me, that just demonstrates that she doesn't really care about this in any substantial way. She cares about the blowback. She cares about the fact that LegalEagle was a big YouTuber and she bit off more than she could chew. You know, because to me, a real sincere apology would be like, you know, obviously sorry to LegalEagle for publicly, but also I'm sorry to the editor. I'm sorry for blowing you up needlessly. I wish you all the best. You know, as a, you know, you could even do something like as a message of goodwill. If you've got any questions about an editing thing you wanted to know about, let us know and we'll help you as best we can. You know, unlikely they take you up on that, but that would be like the right way to go about it, you know? I don't know, man. It
was after this conversation that Click took action and reported and removed that individual from his server. I really wouldn't...
Wait, hang on, wait, what?
Said, and I quote, "I've read one and I don't want access to those screenshots." It was after this conversation that Click took action and reported and removed that individual from his server. I really wouldn't lightly make accusations like this.
Okay. So the guy didn't act fast enough and maybe was a bit shitty at dealing with it, sure. But he did the right thing in the end. Oh, God, what a fucking stupid thing to fucking... This is so retarded, man. Oh my God.
Unless I had seen them for myself. And let me be abundantly clear here. I am not trying to accuse the Click of pedophilia, nor do I have any reason to believe that he could be a pedophile. However, he cultivated an environment that was a breeding ground for inappropriate behavior with minors to occur, and that's exactly what happened. Having our shared moderators approach me in my server about this very serious situation in his server was extremely uncomfortable, but something the moderation team felt needed action that was not being taken. Furthermore, referring to these shared moderators that we had as spies, as he said on Twitter, it only dismisses the fact that he allowed this sexually explicit language to occur around minors. He referred to them as spies, which only shows that he didn't really see any issue with the state of his server. Mark, I'm going to address you directly here. On your Discord,
obviously, the other thing as well is, you know, I do not trust Illuminaughtii to give a full account of what's going on. You know, I'd like to see more evidence. I mean, I don't really care either way, this stupid fucking Discord drama. But, you know, I think that it's like, there's probably stuff from his side that maybe we're not seeing in this. Also, like the way, yeah, someone just sent this in chat, but it's a really weird way to present it. I'm not saying he's a pedophile. I wasn't thinking this guy was a pedophile before you said that. Why would you even say that? Like, no, obviously not. You know, the accusation was that he didn't quickly ban someone that he should have done. That seems to be the main issue. God, man, Discord drama is so fucking dumb, I swear to God.
Server that had, and likely still has, minors present, you as an adult need to do the right thing and actually pay attention to what goes down in your server or ensure a team will take action against inappropriate behavior. I am sorry to those minors who were spoken to in such an inappropriate way. You were, and some of you likely are, still children. Adults should not be having sexually charged conversations with you or sharing sexually explicit photos with you. This is and always has been unacceptable. I will be providing links in the description box for a few resources for anyone who has been negatively impacted by these events. I did what I could, but I wish I could have done more, and I wish that the Click had more accountability of his own server. I also hope that since my falling out with Click, that he has learned from his past errors and worked to better himself. I hope that he and his current moderation team are holding themselves to a higher standard.
So now it's about this Click guy, and what? Oh, this Click. Hopefully he's gotten better. What about you? What are the shit you've done? What about the shit this is all about originally? What the actual fuck? And now she's making it, oh, I'm a good person and I dealt with it. Get fucked, seriously. God, this is unreal, isn't it? I've heard she's got a pattern of behavior of this sort of thing. God, I really don't like this person. I don't know them, obviously, but just the way they act is just really fucking insufferable. Good Lord. Good Lord.
The past 3 years have been challenging to all of us, and I think it's safe to say that living through a global pandemic has changed us in one way or another. Click, I hope you have learned to not tolerate such behavior in your server. I hope that you have learned from this and that you'll continue to strive to do better. I truly regret ever being friends with you. And I hope that I can find...
I've got to be honest with you, though. I do have some level of sympathy, somewhat, because, you know, it's kind of like these people really fucked it up. Because these people that made these tweet threads didn't just think, right, what's the actual best claim I've got? They just did a fucking stream of consciousness, bunch of bullshit claims about things, rather than just saying, what is it she actually did wrong that I can point to? 1, 2, 3. Here it is. Here's 5 tweets that lay out what she did wrong with a bit of evidence. It was all just fucking, oh, and then this happened, and then that happened, and then that happened, you know? Oh my God.
Close the door on that chapter in my life. I want nothing to do with you, and I can only hope that I will no longer be associated with you after all of this. When it comes to discussing Wonderstruck, his actions are some of the most confusing I've had to deal with. I'm going to address his concerns, though a lot of it is fairly tricky since he hinges his accusations on anecdotal commentary. In responding to his baseless claims, I will provide evidence as necessary, as well as point out when things I mention are anecdotal, so I completely understand if you choose to dismiss my anecdotal commentary as it arises. His thread on Twitter makes many claims about who I am.
Augie RSC said that what happened was the Discord server drama happened when the guy was asleep, and isn't her mods shared a download before he woke up. I mean, you know, I don't know the time frame, but it seems like, you know, maybe there were some things going on that she didn't like, whatever. But it seems like that guy got banned. That's what should have happened. I just don't see like what the guy did that was, you know, just feels like she's kind of pivoting it, so she's moving again that attention away from herself onto him. But anyway, let's see what she's got to say about this guy.
As a person and how I've treated him. I hope to come at this with a level head and a very thorough explanation of events. With that being said, let's start with Wonder's accusation of wage theft. That's a big one, and it's important. I talk often about how paying your people is important, so I know how ironic it must look to have that accusation thrown back at me. To begin, let me explain Wonder's employment history with me. During Sad Milk, all of us were contractors to that channel. We were paid as contractors so we could handle taxes in our respective countries on our own, as not all members were American citizens. As many of you are aware, video editing is largely considered gig work, and in the industry, most folks are contractors and work on a variety of projects for different clients at the same time. During December 2020, like all of the members of Sad Milk, Wonder was considered a contractor. On December 24th, 2020, at 5:39 a.m., I received a message from Wonder letting me know that he took a shot at reworking a video that had already been edited by a different contractor. I want to clarify. I did not ask him to do this. This was something he did of his own accord. I responded to him, letting him know that his edits would go live at 1 p.m. on December 24th, 2020. I don't want to claim to know what goes on in Wonder's personal life, but claiming that he missed Christmas with his brother and father, I just don't know how that's possible when the video was finalized early morning on Christmas Eve.
Okay, that I said about that thing as well, regardless of whoever's true or not here, if you're choosing to work on a channel and you happen to miss something, that's on you. Like, that's not your decision. That was a total bullshit thing that guy said.
And Wonder, I do want to thank you again, as I previously had verbally done so, for editing that video. It was great to have a video go live the day before Christmas. As for his claim that he didn't get paid for his work for more than half a month, I would like to let everyone know that Sad Milk's payroll was on a bi-weekly schedule. That simply means that there is a payment every 2 weeks, which is essentially half of a month. This is something that I have continued within my own channel to this day. Both salaried and contracted employees are paid every 2 weeks, and to further add to that, most companies, at least in the US, pay on a bi-weekly schedule, so this is not anything unusual or uncommon. To continue the discussion of his employment with me, I will have to give some much-needed context. For this section, I will be providing screenshots.
The only because he said about the 2 week thing, payment, the only reason that would be bad is if you agree to 1 week and they pay in 2 weeks. But if do you know what I mean? It's like, that was another stupid thing. This person's job was kind of lackluster, to be honest. The best thing about it, I think, was the photo of the house. Oh man, yeah, this is fucking dying.
Thoughts where applicable, but some of this is anecdotal, as much of our conversation.
You see what she's doing, right?
Voice calls or in person. Further corroboration of the anecdotal evidence will be provided in the Google Drive. Wonder and I were still friends throughout the end of Sad Milk in 2020, as well as into 2021. During this time, he would often tell both Oz Media and myself how living in Austin, Texas was a nightmare for him. He would often complain about his roommates being terrible people, his friends being mostly terrible people and unmotivated to do well in life, and how his car was always breaking down, and how his channel was not going in the direction he wanted. And then he talked about that last bit of family that he had moving away, and he was essentially alone. I won't speak on behalf of Oz, but I know I was moved by Wonder's stories. Without going into personal details, I was pretty horrified by what he had explained happened in his past. I was sad.
Okay, what is... Okay, listen. Oh my God, it's difficult to keep track of all this. So much going on. It's a mile a minute, honestly.
Saddened by how he constantly talked about how bad his life was and how he felt like a failure. He said he felt alone, depressed, and uncertain of the future. And at that point, I knew I wanted to help him in whatever way I could. At the end of 2020, I paid for his tickets to visit Oz and me in Colorado. During this trip, we discussed the possibility of Wonder moving out to Colorado due to his discontent with his life in Texas. Oz Media and I had just moved into his newly purchased home in April 2021, and he decided to welcome Wonder.
Everyone's just saying shit.
Unless Oz Media was doing so without my understanding, Wonder was not charged any rent, utilities, or internet for sharing our living space. Later in May 2021, we welcomed Wonder into the house. Oz even personally drove down to Texas to get Wonder and his dog, James. I want to explain my perspective a little bit here. At this point, I was finally starting to feel comfortable with my channel, and I felt that I was in a good position to be able to help somebody out and truly change the lives of one of my close friends. I was in what I felt was a privileged position, and I wanted to share that with someone I cared about and wanted to see succeed. With that in mind, I decided to hire Wonder to do some editing work for my channel. And now we can get back to the continuation of discussing Wonder's employment. Wonder was hired on June 7th, 2021, and was salaried at $50,000 a year. To be frank, I just really wanted him to have an easier job so that he could focus on his personal channel, as he had told me numerous times that was his ultimate goal. His only task was to edit short clips from any live streams that I did, so that I could post them onto my secondary channel, Illuminaughtii. In addition to his salary, he received all benefits that I have for all of my salaried employees, which include a 401k, full health insurance, and an internal benefit I created for my team called an LSA.
I think the point here is that she is saying that this guy's making all these claims, but she actually brought him under her wing and paid him a salary and looked after him. Yes, that's the point of the video. That is the point of the video. It's she's fucked up real bad, but then all these people have come out the woodwork, okay? And what they've done, yeah, sounds good, doesn't it? Get on that. I mean, okay, I don't know where I'd even start with that. How does that even work? Anyway, listen. If it doesn't cost me any money, sounds good. We'll do it, okay? But yeah, basically what's happened is, you know, she is now making this all about what a good person she is. And, oh, look at all these people I've helped and they're attacking me. And they're stupid for coming out with tweets in the way they did. But it's just we're moving so far away and moving away, gently drifting away from all the shit that she's done that was bad to just, oh, look at what a good person I am and here's things I did that are good. And yeah, obviously, you know, a lot of this is just, who cares?
The LSA stands for a lifestyle spending account, and it's essentially more money to put on the table if you as an employee want it. It allows you to submit receipts for things that you've purchased, and I've seen things like groceries, pet supplies, books, new tires for cars, massages, mortgage payments, and so much more. And essentially, I'll reimburse those into more income. During his employment, he never took advantage of any of the benefits that were made available to him. The content for Wonder to edit was dependent on me being able to live stream. During this time, I unfortunately only had 2 streams for him to work on, which Wonder would have been able to produce about 4 videos from. Wonder did not meet the deadlines for either stream. Despite this, I kept him on payroll, I continued his pay, even though no work had ever been completed. Although there was only a minuscule amount of work for Wonder to do, he still managed to act up within company spaces. He made inappropriate comments on forms that were visible to other employees, he didn't complete tasks that were assigned to him, and he failed to follow company protocol. I have a strict policy regarding formal disciplines, and within his short time of working with me, he had already met the criteria for termination. Now, let's move on to the legalities that Wonder brought up in regards to how he claims that he ended up with no car, barely any clothing, no money, and no home. Which leads me to one of the stupidest mistakes of my life. After repeatedly hearing Wonder say how desperately he needed a car, and after believing what he said about how miserable he was, I decided to try and help my friend in a way that I now realize was pretty idiotic. I look back at this decision with regret and embarrassment. This part will get a little nitty-gritty with the details, but I believe I need to fully flesh out all of the information to give you the full picture. After many in-depth discussions with Wonder, I made the decision to purchase a vehicle that he had already agreed to enter into a rent-to-own contract with said vehicle. On June 12, 2021, Oz Media and I collectively decided to take out a loan together in the amount of $42,359.69. Additionally, I brought $28,346.79 in cash as a deposit. Wonder did not contribute to the deposit on the car. With this rent-to-own contract, I agreed to only charge Wonder the cost of the loan and not the full value of the car itself, meaning within a 24-month period, he would have only paid $14,120.12 for a car that when purchased went for a grand total of $61,386.23. And let me be clear here, aside from him accepting my job offer, this was the only legal documentation between the two of us. I will have all of the stipulations of our rent-to-own agreement on
a BMW. Why wouldn't you just get a little runaround? Why would you not just get a little Toyota or something? Just get like, you know, you could probably buy a decent car as a company car for like, what, 30 grand, 20 grand, something like that. Could you get a second hand one maybe? I don't know how it works, but could you not just like get a second hand thing? Little hatchback? Yeah, get a used hatchback or something. I don't know. It just seems crazy to me.
On the screen now, but just know that the most important thing was that after 2 years of consecutive car payments and following all of the stipulations, the vehicle title would be transferred over to Wonder. With the amount that we put into the car, as well as payments on the car that I continued to make monthly, he would own the car outright with no lingering auto debt after that 24-month period. In a DM with me, Wonder later told me that if he hadn't accepted my job offer and my rent-to-own agreement, that he would still have an apartment, a car, and close to $10K in his bank account.
Just keep me right back, bro. Okay, like the thing is okay, do you know what I need to see? I need to see these two people on a stream hashing this out. That's what I need to see. This is, obviously there's some evidence here. I mean, based on what she's saying, it sounds like it could be that he is like taking the piss and being a shitty employee and whatever. But like, what's his side of the story? What's his perspective on this? Also, I mean, she's admitting, I guess, it's a stupid decision, but the idea that you $60,000 BMW rather than just get a little runaround, kind of wild to me. I mean, there is some evidence here, you know, that she was trying to like help this guy out. So, you know, take from that what you will, I guess. But obviously, there's two sides to every story, and his story was light on evidence and did just seem, yeah, I think it's a Britishism, yeah. A runaround just means a car that you just have to get you from A to B. You have that in America, right? To get you from A to B. You know, like you're running around the place doing your little errands and stuff like that. You know, it's not meant to be impressive or it's not meant to be expensive. It's just, I've got a car, I can put petrol or gas in it and get from where I need to go to where I need to be. Go from A to B. But you call it a beta. a shitbox kick around. I like shitbox. Got the old shitbox. Just get in the old shitbox, do some shopping.
I'd like to reiterate that unless Oz was
Americans be like, yeah, I have a 12-ton GMC truck for that.
charging rent without my knowledge, Wonder was living rent-free while earning $1,923.08 every other week, and would have to pay only $588.34 once a month. I don't claim to know the ins and outs of his finances whatsoever, and I very much was not involved with what he was doing with his bank accounts, but I fail to see how I could possibly cost him $10,000. In reality, the agreement I made with Wonder would have me lose $47,266.11. And again, looking back at this, I feel extremely foolish for ever even agreeing to such an arrangement. There were two outstanding instances that voided our agreement and constituted the repossession of my vehicle. The first was the proof of insurance that Wonder never provided. Insurance that is something federally required of any vehicle on the road in the United States. The second infraction on our agreement occurred when Wonderstruck left the state of Colorado to go back to Austin, Texas. You can clearly see these stipulations in the document on the screen right now. Due to multiple defaults by Wonder in our contract, I felt that I had no choice but to repossess the vehicle, which was my property because I am the one who owned it. When I landed in Austin, Texas, I called the non-emergency Austin PD 311 number to explain the situation to them. I told them that I had all of my title documents on me, I had the extra key, I had my insurance.
I mean, I guess the criticism would be, this isn't like a lefty thing to do. Do you know what I mean? That would be the criticism, wouldn't it? That would be the criticism. Like, she is like quite a vicious business, capitalist. I mean, maybe vicious is even harsh. She's like a capitalist business owner, right? Looking after her own interests. That would be the criticism, I guess, people might make. But I'll be honest with you, you know, look, if this is true, is being presented, obviously I'd need more information. But if you've got a car that you're buying for someone and they're fucking around and not doing what's needed and whatnot, then it's pretty reasonable to say, well, hang on a minute, like, we'll have that back, thank you very much. But, you know, obviously, again, this is like her side of the story. The other person gave limited information in the first place. Maybe there's more to it. Who fucking knows?
Cards for the vehicle, and I asked them how I should proceed. They told me they were unconcerned as I was well within my legal right to collect my own property. They furthermore offered me a police escort for the repossession if I wasn't able to collect the car on my own. So on July 29th, 2021, I was able to get a hold of my vehicle and I took back my property. I would like to take a moment to bring up the condition of the vehicle upon its repossession. Within 1 month of using the vehicle, the car was visibly soiled, trash was littered in the car, it contained dirty clothing which consisted of like I think 2 pairs of dirty boxers and like maybe 3 mismatched socks. There was also
okay, I mean, I've got to be honest with you,
if I wasn't able to collect the car on my own. So on July 29th, 2021, I was able to get a hold of my vehicle and I took back my property. I would like to take a moment to bring up the condition of the vehicle upon its repossession. Within 1 month of using...
I mean, the dirty boxes is weird. Cummed in underwear. But like, this doesn't look too bad. Although obviously I made this mistake with Illuminaughtii's images of their house.
The vehicle, the car was visibly soiled, trash was littered in the car, it contained dirty clothing which consisted of like I think 2 pairs of dirty boxers and like maybe 3 mismatched socks. There was also a huge crack that went across most of the windshield, and for some reason the glove box compartment in the front passenger seat was somehow broken. The state of the vehicle was shocking, to be honest, but at this point I was just happy to have my car back and know that it couldn't be damaged any further. And Oz, I want to thank you again for helping me throughout this entire situation. You knew better than anyone how much this situation affected the both of us, and I can't express how much your support meant and continues to mean to me.
Yeah, I've got to be honest with you, for like a new car. I mean, this other person, I don't know much about them, but I don't know, right, why you would, I mean, I'll be honest with you, right? I don't know much about them. They maybe knew a bit more. I would personally never give someone a $60,000 car like that. I think she's admitting it's a super mistake. I'm very averse to just completely, even though she's providing some decent evidence at times, I'm just a bit like, I don't know, I'm a bit averse to kind of necessarily just accepting what she's saying. Because I know she's got like, from my own, you know, looking at what she gets up to, she can be a bit dishonest with stuff, but yeah.
I know he yelled and screamed extensively at both of us. You didn't deserve that, and I didn't either, but I'm still sorry that this hurt you too. I just want to give a quick trigger warning here for the mention of suicide and suicidal intention. After the car was back in my possession on the 29th of July, Oz and I received numerous messages from Wonder, which will be available in the Google Drive. What I specifically would like to highlight is that he insinuates that he had intention to and was taking action to arm himself to end his life. In a message is that he insinuates that he had intention to and was taking...
What the actual fuck is this? Okay, this is spicing up a bit. I was not thinking straight at all once that software started to break. I'd already been on a numerous amount of things got on my head. I didn't want to miss my deadline. The shirt stressed me out so bad I was trying to unlock my dad's gun cabinet, and I guess there's some sort of higher power or some weird shit because my therapist literally called me right there because I forgot I had an appointment.
Imagine getting your biggest barrier removed, unreliable care, and then disrespecting
Thank you for the bits.
like that dude did. Seriously, fuck him.
She told me it was best that I do whatever it takes to be able to do my job than to breathe. Yeah, as I say, you know, it's as much as like we're talking, we need to remember what this is supposed to be about, okay? How did this all come about? This came about because Illuminaughtii made an absolutely insane and frivolous allegation of plagiarism, which now has been totally forgotten. And we're knee deep in these claims other people have made, and she's responding to them and making herself look really good now. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy how we've gone so far from that. But again, as much as like Illuminaughtii is just responding, I mean, I would put more, you know, at the feet of the people that were doing these stream of consciousness tweet threads, just going on about all this random shit, you know. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see what else comes up, I guess. But this is quite successfully done from her perspective, I think. And most people watching this, unless you know about it, are probably going to be somewhat convinced by some of this stuff. Certainly our fans will.
Action to arm himself to end his life. In a message directly with me, he explicitly told me that, quote, I was legit trying to get into my dad's gun cabinet to fucking kill myself. Either way, out of concern, I called the Austin Police Department non-emergency line to ask for a wellness check. And when I explained to the operator what was the situation at hand, they immediately transferred me to the 911 dispatcher. I then read the messages to them, and I gave the 911 operator the last known place of his residence in Texas, which was his dad's house, to perform a wellness check. The operator then told me not to arrange anything unless the police force is present. In his messages, Wonder states that he received a call from his therapist, which ultimately pulled him out of his intended plan. And let's take a moment to discuss the therapist. During his time in Colorado, he expressed that he wanted to seek therapy, and I think that's a fantastic decision. To help him with his process, I messaged my old therapist, who I did a lot of EMDR therapy with and helped me immensely. On screen is me reaching out to her to see if she was accepting any new clients. Confidential details are going to be censored in order to keep Wonder's privacy and integrity. Looking back, I probably shouldn't have recommended a therapist who was so life-changing for me to somebody else. Therapy is a continual journey. You can come in and out as needed. And unfortunately, after I recommended Wonder to this therapist, there began a conflict of interest, and I could no longer in good conscience see her for her services. Wonder, I am so incredibly sorry that I unintentionally created a conflict of interest between the two of us in regards to this therapist. I did not mean to make that an issue between us at all. When Wonder arrived in Colorado, to say he packed lightly would be a bit of an understatement. He arrived with barely any clothing, no food for his dog, not even a collar for his dog, just a bandana. As Wonder mentions on Twitter, that short amount of time we lived together was absolutely a nightmare. The tension began with our dogs and his unwillingness to help ease the situation between our pets. I did everything I thought of at the time to introduce James and Casper in a way that facilitated a good relationship between the dogs. They met on neutral ground at a dog park and only had supervised play at the house.
Oh my god, we're talking about dogs now. This video is insane. Now we're talking about dogs. Okay. This is mental. Were dogs in the original tweet? I can't even remember.
Wonder did not want to facilitate the dog play, so this really only happened under mine and Oz's supervision. And when both myself and Oz would leave the house and Wonder would stay home, he has multiple times locked Casper away in an empty room while James got free roam over the entire house. I don't want to claim that I'm any sort of dog specialist, but I do know that James was the new dog in this house that Casper had already been living in. And dogs are territorial by nature, that this was Casper's house and now suddenly he was being locked away. Additionally, James had multiple accidents in the home and Wonder would not clean them. It was Oz who ended up taking on that responsibility. During Wonder's stay in Colorado, his actions and inactions regarding the care of his dog James were a main cause of tension in the house. Not only did it seem like James was receiving inadequate care due to the lack of identification with a collar, lack of food, lack of toys, and more, but Wonder was unwilling to do his part as a pet owner to keep the peace between the dogs too. Wonder's lack of responsibility led to multiple incidents evidence in addition to what I've previously mentioned. Firstly,
Okay, I
James
literally
bit
am
Casper and bit his ear so hard that Casper bled. At this point, I took Casper to live with my sister as I no longer felt comfortable having Casper alone in the house with Wonder and James. I reached out to my good friend who's also a dog trainer to see if he could help me with the situation. The second incident occurred on June 24th, 2021. On the night of the 23rd, Oz and
is she gonna address the messy room allegations? What's the messy fucked up holding room allegations? That's what I need to see.
Wonder went out together. I was exhausted, and so before they both left, I let them know that I was going to bed, which is exactly what I did. I was woken up at 2:30 in the morning by Oz because Wonder was panicking because James was gone. Wonder admitted that he took James outside to go potty, then having forgotten he had done so, he left James outside while Wonder left the house with Oz. That means that he left his own dog outside unsupervised for hours on end in the middle of the night. If I was aware that James was outside unsupervised, I would have done everything to ensure his safety and brought him back inside. There was unfortunately nothing I could do as I was already downstairs in my room sleeping by the time this was all unfolding. When I was woken up by Oz, I got on the Nextdoor app and I immediately made a post to try and locate James. Got a response around 10 a.m. the next day with a call from someone who had thankfully located James. The only evidence I have of this series of events is photos of James that Wonder sent to me at 3:05 in the morning on June 24th.
Okay. Chips! 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 Oh my god, it's like chips all over again. Chips Mark II.
Because I needed some photos to post on Nextdoor. As for the photo that Wonder posted claiming that I live in a hoarder home, I want to clarify that as previously stated, Oz and I had only started moving into the home around mid-April 2021. I still had my room from a shared lease with multiple roommates until June 1st. During Wonder's stay, I was still in the process of moving in and unpacking. Furthermore, the photo he shows is a photo of a room that wasn't lived in by anyone in the house, and it was being used as a temporary storage and unpacking site while everyone was moving in. To further exemplify this, I would like to show you some photos I have of Casper in my room from that same time. And I would like to highlight a couple things, which I feel this is very nitpicky.
I mean, look, that's the one thing. Again, are we playing hide the ball here? Because who's got the okay. Who's got the you know what? Who's got the tweet? Who's got the Augie tweet?
But because this was brought up in such a manner, I feel that this is kind of the way to dispel this. And again, normally I wouldn't point out small things like this, but I really feel as I need to. If you go ahead and look at the sheets on the bed, it's not the same ones as the one that are on the floor in the photo he took. At the time, Colorado is still very cold in April, and I had a full goose down comfort.
Okay, I've got to be honest with you. Sure, there's maybe some evidence of moving in, like Amazon boxes. Some of this, is this moving in? One thing to bear in mind is this, you know, some stuff here, maybe I would agree with it, but like some of this looks kind of just fucked up and gross. Anyway, I'm going to be honest with you, you know, I don't think this is... We're now figuring out who is correct in the messy room argument. But also, yeah, I don't buy that this is just moving in mess. This looks like you know, I'm going to be honest with you. My place, like I've got a couple of cans here. I've got an empty coffee cup. I mean, most of it is from today. Bottle of water there. Some letters I've not really filed away. You know, I don't know. Like I've got a bunch of cans of fucking Coke Zero over here. I've got some energy drinks that I've got delivered the other day. It's not, you know, my house needs a bit of a tidy, right? But it's nothing like this ever. And even moving in, like if you've got these Amazon boxes, you take it out of the box, you flat pack the box and put it with recycling, right? And yeah, sure, there might be the odd box. You might be like, oh, I'll do that later. But to have all these boxes like this is kind of crazy. That's kind of crazy, even if you're moving in. You know, you would sort of like take the box and go, right. If you had like 10 boxes, you just quickly, right, let's get this done. Done. Yeah, I don't know. I need to be able to inspect these pictures more closely and also understand a bit more about the other side of the argument, I guess, because, you know, obviously Illuminaughtii has demonstrated that she's very keen to just present herself in the best possible light at all opportunities.
On the bed. And as you can see with photos of literally Casper's Instagram with the tagged dates on it below as well, you can see that my bed also, albeit a bit gaudy, has a silver headboard with little little crystals and mirrors.
It's not relevant. This is the point. She's been able to pivot to focus entirely on all of these claims these people made in these Twitter threads, and we've moved away completely from the actual point of the matter, which is talking about the plagiarism allegation. And obviously she's apologized for it, but she's done it in a way where she's going to avoid the scrutiny that's due because she's not provided all of the tweets she originally put out there. She's now trying to say it was to protect her editors. It's kind of bullshit.
And silver tufting. I feel the need to point out these minor details since the out-of-context photos of the house being moved into are being used as a way to show that I'm a supposed monster and that, quote, my home is a mess, like hoarder's bad. And just, what was the point of this wonder? Why would you even bother posting something like this except to humiliate me? This was a room that we told you we were using to move, and we let you know it was off limits to you. That photo alone
release the Kraken.
Lack of respect for Oz's and my boundaries. And wonder, I am sorry that I was ever friends with you. My short involvement in your life clearly caused you so much harm and emotional distress, and I never want that for any of my friends, past or present. And for that, I again want to apologize. I hope you find peace. This final section and this final person will be the hardest for me to address, so I plan on keeping this brief. Oz, you were right. I am afraid of looking stupid and weak online, and yet I am those things right now. You've been with me through a lot of really intense and personal situations in my life. You were there throughout the entire process of my mom's cancer diagnosis, her various treatments, and hospitalizations. And I know there were many times when I had to run out the door suddenly because there was a crash cart in her room and they didn't know if she was going to make it. And you said you'd stay at the house and watch Casper so I could go to my mom. You were there for Casper's various hospitalizations when he would get sick throughout the years, and you helped me through a very difficult surgery recovery. I just want to say thank you for always being my support through all of my ups and downs. I know that a lot of these personal situations in my life left me very thin and sometimes irritable, and I want to say thank you for supporting me through it and talking me through some really hard times. Your support and your friendship meant more to me than I think you'll probably ever know. I'm gonna miss all the fun things we used to do, eating way too much cheese at the melting pot. I'll miss you teaching me how to play Command and Conquer and playing it.
Yeah, this is like wild, like emotional shit. This comes across as like super manipulative. Like, oh, I'm crying about the cancer. I don't know, man. Just fucking, do you really need to be crying in this? Like, just fucking take another fucking recording.
And how you've always obviously been Casper's BFF, and you know how Casper is not afraid of Oswaldo. We're both gonna miss you a lot. The truth is, like we've privately discussed before, I always hope that we'd be able to reconnect again in the future and mend our friendship. I meant that when I said it to you, and I believed you when you said it back. Even after everything that's happened, you were the one person that I always thought we could just get it and pick back up where we left. And unfortunately, I think that ship has sailed. Oz, I miss the friend you were to me, but I think this makes it clear that we finally need to cut all ties.
Okay, what? Okay, is this tweet? Listen, West Aquamarine, I've got to be honest with you, okay? I literally do not give a single fuck about you getting unfairly treated in the Discord, okay? Right? I literally don't give a shit. And if you keep going, I'm just going to increase whatever the timeout is. I'm just going to double it. So, yeah, shut the fuck up. Don't care. Couldn't care less. Stop fucking messaging me on fucking different platforms trying to get me to do something about this. I don't give a shit. Fuck off. There is something truly special about having your inactive dog's account unfollow me first, then blocking me days later, especially after coming to me in messages, yelling at me, but not denying anything, then demanding we talk, but passively aggressively threaten me when I ask for space and time. Also, hi Blair, having fun monotonously scanning the replies of people you've blocked for subtweets. It was really fun pastime of ours, wasn't it? Stalking the accounts of everyone we pissed off and you blocked, or they blocked us. All good times, don't miss them. Oh, the way she cried at the end of the video and speaking about you struck me as manipulative. Not trying to minimize emotions here, just struck me as odd. Honestly, I would love to keep things to just sad milk. But those tears, man. I've literally watched her build up those exact tears up when we lived together. Ooh, juicy. Ooh, what's going on there? A little allegation of crocodile tears. Why not just record it when you're feeling more emotionally stable? Why not just go, okay, I cried in that one. I can't put that up. That's too much. I'll just do it again. Does seem a bit manipulative.
So, to finish out this very difficult video for me, I want to once again just say I take accountability for my actions. There are absolutely some stupid and dumb things that I did, and sometimes I do react a bit impulsively, and that does tend to backfire on me. I am disappointed in my behavior, and I hope that I can learn from all of this. I want to own up to my faults and take responsibility for my actions. Furthermore, I want to take responsibility for my own involvement with a crowd I am happy to no longer associate with. I did make...
But what have you actually copped to here? You spent a couple of minutes talking about the LegalEagle situation, didn't actually talk about what you said. You just jumped over it as quickly as you could, then and spent the rest of the video defending yourself, and now you're like, I want to take responsibility. What have you actually done in all of this?
Bad decisions. I've made bad friends. And there will forever be a bad taste in my mouth regarding some of the individuals I've spoken about today. But finally,
this is bullshit, man.
I want to apologize to my audience. I owe you better than this, and you deserve more from me. I let you down, and I am sorry. I hope that in time you can see that I mean everything that I've said here today, and I am so excited to be able to prove you right.
Fuck off, man. Anyway, for those of you that missed it, this is the actual meat and potatoes of it.
Hey everyone. Well, there's no really thinking about what I want to say and how I want to talk about these things. I think now is the right time. To be perfectly honest, I'm feeling pretty vulnerable to have this conversation with so many people and so publicly, especially since some of the things that I'm going to talk about today are really personal and things in my private life that should have never become content fodder. So let me try something new today, and I'm going to address these issues. Now, before we get into debunking many false statements that have been made about me, I want to start with an apology. I have apologized privately to LegalEagle the day after this incident occurred, though I have not been publicizing that until right now. Maybe this is something I should have said sooner, but I needed the time to think through the events that have preceded. And for those unaware, a short story. My editors came to me about how parts of a LegalEagle video looked similar to our videos. And then there were messages and an email from one of LegalEagle's editors asking for more information about how we do certain effects.
Not showing the original tweets anywhere. What a fucking little rat. Show the original tweets. Release the Kraken.
I looked at the compared images that were brought to me and I said, wow, that does look pretty similar. And I impulsively posted about it on Twitter. Truthfully, I should have looked into this more instead of just putting the information out there the second I had a gut reaction about it. I should have asked him what the emails were about, but I didn't. And I made a mistake, and plain and simple, I was wrong. So to LegalEagle and team, I just want to reiterate that I messed up, and I'm sorry for any stress this may have caused you and of course to your team. I know I apologized privately and removed the tweets with that apology, and I'm now publicly sharing that information with all of you. And I want to extend that apology to my...
Okay, link me that thread and I'll look at it, but honestly, I'm running out of patience for this stupid fucking drama.
...audience and to listeners who are disappointed in me for this, because I'm also disappointed in myself. It was a quick drawn decision and it wasn't thought out. I promise to do better. Now, as we continue in this video, I do want to give you a heads up that there will be...
3 minutes. 3 minutes, 15 seconds and done. How long was spent on that? Fuck me, man. Didn't even go over what she said. Wild shit. But hey. Yeah, the LegalEagle bit was 2 minutes. And the thing is, I'm not even necessarily saying that she needs to flagellate herself or something like that. But it's wild that the whole thing started because she made this completely frivolous claim of plagiarism against LegalEagle and shat on LegalEagle's editor, Danny. And now has spent the most of the video talking about some irrelevant Twitter shit that people brought up afterwards. Anyway, what's this Reddit thread? I guess I'll look at that if you link it. And then we're going to move on to... I don't even fucking know. I've been away, so I'm a little bit behind. I tell you what I could do. I could have a quick look at the old LSF Reddito. The old Reddito. Here we go. Oh, man. Okay, I think this is going to be a link and read it if you want. I literally am just like, okay. A lot of information is part of a pending small claims lawsuit. Okay, well, that'll be interesting if that comes through. Anyway, listen, I don't fucking look. If you want to read more about it, okay?